Dare I say the summer's here? Why not? Let's get some planting done. I'm going to start this bed by planting out the Zebrune Shallots. Now I grew these last time for the first time and had a wonderful crop. They keep for a long while, but more importantly, they taste great. I shall be planting the banana shallots out exactly the same method and spacings as I did the onion sets you saw in the previous episode. So this variety is Zebrune, and you can get other varieties, but I'm sure they'll taste just as good. So I won't bore you with the planting of these. You've already seen it in the last episode, as I said. So I'll come back to you when I've finished. A little tip here is I'll give this bed a good watering about 36 hours ago. It was absolute drenching, and already the soil has dried out quite remarkably. Because the plants, the onions, are in modules, I'm actually just popping a hole in on the spacings and popping them in. But one tip, just run along the top of the watering can, just a quick drizzle, nothing too heavy, and then you'll find that the hole maintains its shape and doesn't collapse. I've got 6 rows of the Zebrune in, there's 12 in row, so it's 72 in total. The rest I've given away, but that'll do me more than enough. It's amazing how once you get the sequence of planting sorted, like I said before, give the soil a little drop of water on the top, bore the hole and then put the plug in. Overall that took about 30 minutes. You may recall from the last episode that when I planted the onion sets out, I'd got enough for one more row, but the bed wasn't big enough. So there's 12 onions here. I'm going to be planting them in here. The difference is there's going to be no mycorrhizal on these, so we'll see how they perform against each other. That's the last row of onion sets in position. Now while we're on a row, I'm going to fill the rest of the bed 4 rows of leeks. When these originally sown, I didn't hold much hope. They seemed very poor spindly things. Over the last few weeks, as you can see from that, they've really thickened up, and I think I better get them out. I plant my leeks out using one of the traditional methods, and that's boring a hole about 9 inches deep and putting the leek seedling into the hole. No soil else goes in, just water the hole up, and gradually over time you'll find that the roots get covered and the leek will grow away on its own. The idea of this is to stop any grit or that going into the stem of the leek as it grows and making it gritty. First of all, I'm going to give the soil a good drowning with water because it's bone dry, and this will help retain the hole when I bore them. Now I've opened the root ball up of the leeks. The stems are actually thicker than I thought there was originally. Looking at this one here, to be honest, that's probably better than some of the spring onions I grew last year. So that's going into the ground like that. I have been tidying the roots up just to keep them all level, because there's some straggly ones as well. It makes them a lot easier to put into the hole. Finally managed to get 48 leeks in. That's 4 rows of 12. I put the other bunch back into the pot with some fresh compost, and hopefully that'll give them a bit more food to keep them going until I get a chance when the garlic and the elephant garlic is lifted, and I'll plant some more out in here. All that's left to do now on this bed is to get the frames up and the cover on. It was only a few weeks ago it was moaning at the icy wind and how bitter cold it was. Well, guess what? Today was a bit too hot to be out on the plot, so apart from visiting the first thing in the morning to open a few greenhouses and do a bit of watering, I've not stayed on there much longer today because it's been blistering hot. It's 25 to 8 now. I've been out about half an hour and I'll just show you what I've done. I've just prepared a root trainer, 32 cell one. I've used 16 cells. I've got the Blue Lake French beans in there. I'm putting 2 seeds per station. And on there's the pea beans, the ones which David kindly sent me. And there's 1 in each there, so there's 16 of those. All I'll do now is just press them down knuckle depth, cover them up with compost and give them some water. I also did my last sowings for this year of peas. There's 2 gutters there, and the variety is Hurst Green Shaft. Well folks, a bit of change in the weather today. Very windy, dull, and it looks as though we've got a storm coming in. So I'll take this opportunity to try and get some broad beans into the root trainers. This is a first for me. It's a packet of unwinds with there's 4 different varieties of runner bean in here, and I'll hopefully put the names along the bottom, what they consist of. Mixture of seeds. I've got a 32 cell root trainer prepared. I've just popped the beans in the top, and I'll just poke them down about half an inch or so, and let them go. Saying that now, it's just started raining. One and all. Join me on the pot this morning. It's 10 past 10. Just a quick show you what I've put in the carrot tanks for the time being. You may recall I added a few more tanks to the collection this year, and consequently we've had to build the soil level up with horse manure so that rolls out any carrots going in. So rather than just leave the space lying there, I've added a bit of a mixture in here. Down the middle I've got some more radish redhead, the round ball type, which I've never grown before. I've got a couple of rows of white Lisbon each side of that, and down the extreme I'd actually forgotten to sow any of the wedge lettuce, so one of the pot holders nearby donated a few plants there and I've put them in, so we'll see how they grow together. We're fast approaching the beginning of June now, so I guess it's time we had a look at the first bucket of swift potatoes. Looking at the date on the buckets, I reckon these have been in around 90 odd days, just about, so I'm not sure what to expect. I know there's a few on here. Mark Davidson's had some decent reveals early. This variety is called Swift. And already I can see some animal. There's a few in here. There's a seed potato there. I think there was four tubers. This is a 30 litre bucket. I think this was the Wicks's compost. So here's another seed potato. That's about it. As you can see, that's not a bad haul really off the first bucket for the year. Well, I'll take them into the kitchen. I've got no scales on there. I'll take them into the kitchen and we'll just let you know what the weight is. There they are. I've zeroed the scales with the plate on, and just looking down there, it's just 2 pounds and half an ounce. Moving on to this bed here, this was originally the bed that I had the heat treated onion sets in last year, and the plan was to continue using this for the onions, but they've worked out quite nicely in the main beds the other side of the basket cage there. So what I'm going to do with this lot here, I'm going to take the net off, give it a dig over, and I'm going to use these 2 beds here for this season to plant out the outdoor tomatoes, the Crimson Crush. That's the 2 beds cleared up now, and I've dug them over, raked them, and also added a top dressing of 6x manure, and also some groundwool. For them who watch the channel regularly may remember that about 2 years ago I had a cherry tree here which I had an eviction notice served on it, and we got rid of it, so the soil's probably still in poor condition. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. I decided to change things around a bit rather than just have plain tomatoes in here, and I've put a few wigwams up, or TPs, whatever you want to call them, and I'm going to grow some Swede peas up there. Well, I thought I was. I looked into the coal frame. Those don't look too bad, but these look as though they've been scorched a bit. Most of these, I think they're really hungry. Anyway, I'm going to plant them in and see how they go. Well, good morning all. You join me on what is a bank holiday Monday here in the UK. I didn't have time to show you what I'd actually done yesterday, although I did have a really good day on the plot. What happened towards the end, I got quite a bit of clearing up to do, and also the light started fading, but more importantly it looked as though we was going to have a drop of most welcome rain. However, this never turned out really. It's drizzling now, but nothing special. Anyway, I'll just spin you around and have a look. This is the bed as it finished last night. You can see in the corners I've got the 2 towers for the Swede peas. Whether they arrive or not, I don't know. They don't look too good at the moment. I've put 5 dahlia plants out. Then there's 3 cosmos, and the rest is there's 10 plants in total of the outdoor tomato called Crimson Crush. What was now noticeable yesterday when I was fetching the plants out of the greenhouse, they've given this spurt the last 2 or 3 weeks, and some of the plants have possibly gone over, they're gone a bit leggy, but these seem to be okay. More important for me now though is decide which tomato plants are going to go into the greenhouse, and I need to pot them on. Another thing which came as a shock yesterday was that about a couple of months ago I potted on some begonia corms that I'd had in the basket the previous year. I put these into 3-inch pots and left them in trays outside to fend for themselves basically. And I looked yesterday and most of them was in flower, so really I need to get the hanging baskets replanted up again this year. We've just had a lovely shower of rain, so I'll take this opportunity just to admire this lovely rose, a David Austin rose called Gertrude Jekyll. I've potted up the tomatoes which are going to go in the allotment greenhouse eventually. Some of them say some of them started to go leggy. I've also done the cucumbers over there, and there's another 2 or 3 tomatoes behind it. I'm about to start to plant out the Swede now, and for some unknown reason to me I always plant them with the parsnips, and the spacings will be the same, 6 to a row. There's 30 plants, so that should leave 5 rows to go in. While we're near the parsnip bed, you'll notice there's nothing come up, and that's because the seedlings got fried with the recent hot weather we had. I think there's 1 or 2 might still make it, but I've done is put a few seeds in the top of each station again, and I'll just leave them to their own thing now. That's all the Swede planted out now. I'd only got 29 in the end, not 30, so I've done 6 in the row and 5 rows, and there's just odd space in the end. I'll just lash in a quick frame up over here. I'm going to pop some Enviro over the top, because already the spotted pigeons are out on the roof waiting. I've just put some environment over the top, and I think that'll see them okay. I'll just spin around you now and show you this. There's this structure here, there's two structures. That's where I'm going to be putting my sunflowers, which will be coming out more or less either today or tomorrow. I've put some steel pins in, line pins, wooden stakes with the cable ties, and some canes to act as bracing. I did have 8-foot canes up last year, but the sunflower snapped them, so I'll get a bit more support this year. There's another set of 4 there, and there's the canes to put the centre bracing in. This is the first one in for the sunflower challenge. Well, that's 8 planted out now, and as you can see, they're looking a bit sorry for self. But hopefully they'll have picked up by the morning. It's hard to believe, but we've run out of time again. We've managed to get quite a lot done on this episode, and there's still plenty more to do, including planting up the hanging baskets and getting the greenhouse planted with the tomatoes and cucumbers. So until next time, see you later. Bye for now.